Hello and welcome back to the Unthinkable Tech Podcast, the pulse on technology that is shaping our future. I'm your host Anmol Satija and very excited to dive deep into the latest trend that is not only shaping the future of technology but also entrepreneurship. Today we are exploring a topic essential for startups to thrive, that is hybrid apps. In a world where time is money and competition is fiercer than ever, startups are constantly searching for efficient and cost-effective solutions to bring their ideas to life. Enter hybrid apps, the perfect blend of performance, flexibility, and reach. But what makes them the preferred choice for startups? Is it their ability to operate seamlessly across platforms, or perhaps the rapid development cycle that allows for the quicker market entry? Let's find out. So to help us unpack this exciting topic, we have a very special guest joining us today. He's a tech expert with a wealth of experience and a passion for innovation. I would like to welcome Abhijeet Tripathi from Unthinkable Solutions. Abhijeet has been at the forefront of mobile tech advancements and has been helping startups harness the power of hybrid apps to drive growth and success. Hi Abhijeet, welcome to the show.
Hey Anmol, thanks for having me here. Really excited and looking forward to the conversation.
So, without any further ado, let's get into the conversation. Now, just to make it more clear for our audience, could you please provide a brief overview of what hybrid apps are? And additionally, how do they differ from, the native and web apps in terms of architecture and functionality?
Absolutely, Anmol. So, hybrid applications were able to resolve a major use case that was to help organizations to maintain one code base and deploy to multiple platforms, which eventually helps speeding up and simplifying workflows.
Right.
In contrast, native apps are built specifically for one platform, such as Swift for iOS or Kotlin for Android, which can deliver high performance but require separate code bases for each platform. Moreover, web applications run entirely in browser, so which limits them due to the internet connectivity requirements, and they don't offer the same access to device features like native or hybrid applications do.
Yeah, actually it is interesting to see how hybrid apps leverage web technologies while still providing the benefits of native performance, right? So, and the distinction between hybrid, native and web apps that you just mentioned really highlights the flexibility that hybrid solutions has to offer. Now, I would like to state that major players in the tech industry like Google, Twitter, Uber, Instagram, and many other have either started with hybrid apps or transitioned to them. So, the shift is significant and speaks volume about the advantages that hybrid apps has to offer, right? So, given this backdrop, I am curious to hear your thoughts. Why do you think hybrid apps have gained such popularity in recent years? What is it about them that resonates so strongly with both startups and established companies alike?
So, Anmol, as we already highlighted, that the popularity of hybrid applications stems from several factors. So, firstly, they allow companies to maintain one code base for multiple platforms, which significantly reduces the development time and cost. So this is, I think, something particularly appealing for startups that need to be really agile and make most of the limited resources when they're still building upon the product that they want to roll out. And with this thing, basically, they can quickly roll out some features initially on all the platforms together. So this can actually help them out to reach and get a really early feedback from the end users themselves.
Right.
So it really helps them out. And secondly, hybrid applications, they eventually over the years have been really working hard to perform the near native performance. Earlier, it was really the iOS developers or the Android developers that were able to produce such with the native code base and everything, such applications. But now with even the web developers, they have transitioned to these frameworks like React Native and Flutter. And as these frameworks are evolving, So they have evolved to a certain extent where their performance has increased to a near native thanks to technologies like React Native and Flutter. This evolution has made hybrid apps a viable alternative to native applications without sacrificing much in terms of speed or user experience.
Okay.
Okay. And definitely the popularity of hybrid applications is just not limited to startups. Even large companies like Meta and Uber, as you also mentioned, they have made the switch for their products like Instagram, Uber Eats, just to mention a few. This shows that hybrid applications can handle massive user bases and complex functionalities as well.
Right. That's a great perspective, Abhijeet. I mean, it's impressive to see how hybrid apps have matured and can now support the scalability and performance needs of major players, as we talked, and new players in the market industry as well. So now, building on that, I'm curious about the applicability of hybrid apps beyond just mobile. When we think about hybrid apps, is their value proposition limited to mobile development only? Or do you see them being equally beneficial for the web platforms as well?
So that's an important distinction, Anmol. While hybrid applications initially, they're used to focus only on Android and iOS, and many frameworks now like React Native, Flutter, etc. They allow extension to web, desktop, and now even other platforms like Vision OS as well. So this means that organizations can deliver a consistent user experience with the flexibility to tweak the configurations if they want to do. Like they want to modify a bit for iOS or Android or maybe web, etc. So this can help the developers to reach out, the organizations to reach out the user base on a vast range of devices across multiple platforms. All this while maintaining a single code base, which is a really big deal in terms of cost and reaching a larger audience.
Yeah, I think the evolution towards multi-platform solutions certainly seems to be strategic advantage for companies aiming to streamline their development processes. Now, if we look back at the journey of hybrid apps, I am very curious about the historical context. What key developments or trends do you think contributed to the rise of hybrid apps in the mobile development landscape?
So the rise of hybrid applications, I think it can be tracked back to a few key developments. So initially, the mobile application development was entirely native, but this really created a lot of redundancy for developers, and they had to build the same application twice, once for iOS and then again for Android. And the need for a faster hybrid solution gave rise to frameworks like the PhoneGap and Apache Cordova in the early 2010s. So while these frameworks were early attempts, they had a certain limitation to performance and the user experience as well.
Okay.
So, and thereafter, I think the real game changer was introduced with React Native by Facebook in 2015. So React Native brought the performance of native applications that combined the flexibility of web technologies and setting the standard for the modern hybrid development.
Interesting.
So nowadays, if we just go and start using some application, you can hardly tell that if it is a React Native, Flutter, or anything, if it's a hybrid application or a native application.
Right.
Many applications are right now being developed as hybrid. So, and eventually, after React Native, so even Google was really closely following this trend. Okay. So they brought in their own framework, Flutter, in around 2017, which further really targeted smoother animations and performance and boosted it way further than React Native. So right now, it's really Flutter is much more closer to the native performance right now. So it's a really competitive space nowadays, with React Native and Flutter emerging as the main contenders right now, and they are continuously striving to optimize for performance and platform updates and all. And with the community support and all, the open source community, the plugins and everything, it has been really helpful to people to start utilizing these frameworks to develop the applications.
That was a great overview, Abhijeet. Thank you. Given this backdrop, I would love to hear your thoughts on the key technologies that have contributed to this evolution of hybrid apps. What specific tools or frameworks do you think have been instrumental in shaping the capabilities and performance of hybrid apps today?
So, Anmol, along with increasing in device processing capabilities and internet speed over the years, so this has been a key factor, and there have been certain other evolution or technology evolution that has really helped us out to in hybrid applications development and all. So, firstly, the frameworks like React Native and Flutter, they offer near native performance while maintaining flexibility. Earlier it was Cordova and all, so it has come there has been a major shift to, in the performance and all. So right now, if we just talk about the kind of even the number of applications on the store, so that we can say the performance for React Native is around 70-80% or something like that. For native application, and Flutter being it is way closer to native. It is around 90-95% of the native performance.
Okay.
So saying that, I should really add if I just talk about React Native. So React Native works fine without any noticeable performance lags.
Okay.
And depending on the use case, you may even consider Flutter and eventually native if the application is really resource hungry or something like that.
Got it.
Okay. And secondly, the communities as they are growing, so community maintained plugins and the cloud services, even the third-party SDKs that were initially just your Android or iOS. So they have over time developed more and more plugins or SDKs for React Native and Flutter. So, for example, Firebase, we can handle tasks like authentication, analytics, push notifications that were just limited to initially the native application, and we had to write some code to actually bridge it for React Native or Flutter applications. So this has enabled the hybrid applications to compete with the native applications in terms of features and continuous improvement in web technology. So which basically hybrid applications you rely on to or in order to render the web content and everything. So this has also enhanced the performance and the user experience.
Okay.
And moreover, if we talk about CI/CD platforms, so there are certain CI/CD platforms like App Center and Bitbucket and all. So they are working actively on the mobile first scenarios. So this has actually helped us to roll out faster, and it's nowadays a piece of cake. Every different steps and parts that we need to execute as a part of CI/CD for hybrid application, they are available out of the box. You just need to kind of mention the details. Okay, I'm creating a app for React Native or Flutter, and it provides you kind of a boilerplate kind of a thing, so that you can directly use those pre-created workflows and just use for application and start rolling out. So, and furthermore, I must say that the biggest contributing factor has been the acceptance by organizations and developers. So even the organizations, they are really interested in the hybrid applications these days. So in certain studies or people have done, so I think 60-70% organizations are really into the hybrid application, how this thing is growing. Even if they have not moved into this space, but still, seeing the growth and the kind of support it is getting from the developer community and even the developers, because they are interested. So it is really boosting the support for all the hybrid applications. So this has eventually led to the framework communities for React Native and Flutter to grow at a larger, at a really consistent pace. And this has helped us to tap into the native or the device-specific features, like just to name a few, biometrics, GPS, and video calling. So,
Right.
and this has made the hybrid application just as powerful as their native counterparts with minimum native modification nowadays.
Okay. That was quite an insightful breakdown, Abhijit. Thank you. And now, given the context, I think it is crucial for our audience to understand the strategic impacts of choosing hybrid app development. So, what key considerations should CXOs keep in mind when deciding whether to invest in hybrid app development or not? In what scenarios do you think hybrid apps are the better choice compared to native apps?
So for CXOs, the decision basically it comes down to a few key factors like time to market,
Right.
budget, then targeted audience, and the long-term maintenance, right? So the hybrid applications they really allow the organizations to get into the market faster,
Okay.
right? Because we are just writing one code base and we can quickly deploy it for multiple platforms, right? Otherwise, it would have been again Android, iOS, one team for Android, one team for iOS, one team for web, and
Agreed.
they must be they can be scenarios wherein they are facing different issues, right? And maybe so even it even provides you consistency across all, so it's really helps them out. So yeah, and this scenario has made it the hybrid applications an ideal choice for companies that are looking for a quick validation of their product ideas, rolling out initial features to the user base for beta testing or something like that. So that is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And the budget because it's a huge factor. So with hybrid applications, you are paying for one development team instead of the separate teams.
Right.
And that's it. If your application relies heavily on advanced device features or requires extreme high performance, like gaming applications or something like that, so native might be a still better option. But for most of the cases, hybrid applications are now at par with
Right.
native functionality and everything. So CXOs should also consider their long-term goals if they are planning to expand to other platforms like web or desktop. So starting with a hybrid application makes that kind of an expansion really easy. So not just that, but just taking up an example from our own experience over the years. So not just that, we have suggested our clients using a native or web development separately to move to hybrid applications. Even unthinkable products like Locomo and Verbi are also actively using hybrid frameworks, especially React Native.
Oh, yeah. Interesting to know.
So over time, with Unthinkable's emphasis on reusability, we have developed our own UI libraries and hybrid boilerplates that can help us create the platform-first applications for mobile and web platforms using React Native and React.js respectively also. So that has been a great experience moving to hybrid applications.
I would totally agree. The flexibility of hybrid apps certainly allows quicker validation and easier expansion across platform, which is appealing to many organizations, I must say. However, like any other application, hybrid app might also come with their own set of challenges, right? So, what are some of the common challenges you see in hybrid app development, and how can organizations effectively overcome them?
So Anmol, I think one of the major considerations is performance for every organization whenever they are building some product. So although hybrid applications have come a really long way in terms of performance,
Right.
so there can be still some performance trade-offs compared to compared to native apps, particularly for complex animations or graphics-heavy applications.
Okay.
So this one factor is that that I always ask teams to consider while choosing between native and the hybrid frameworks. However, you can mitigate these kind of issues by optimizing code and using native modules for performance-heavy tasks, unless the requirements are at the level of something like a gaming application or something.
Right.
So other than that, it's kind of the performance is kind of fine, and you can really make a really different differentiate between the two. And I think other challenge can be accessing platform specific features. So while hybrid frameworks and applications they offer access to most device features, be it inbuilt or via third-party integrations, you might occasionally need to write native code to bridge certain functionalities. So fortunately, platforms like React Native, they allow you to write native modules when needed, given the flexibility to basically overcome these limitations. And definitely, it's not like we are not working on native development. So whenever there is some new feature out, and probably at that point of time, for hybrid application, it's outright not available, or maybe not in a really ready state. So it in such scenarios also we kind of basically develop interact with the native teams and all, and use that their capability to develop the native functionality.
Got it.
Okay. For example, I can share a specific case. For example, some years back when we used Vonage plugin. So basically, in React Native, so basically this SDK is basically used for video calling features, etc. Some things like that. So initially, they were limited to just your desktop and Android and iOS SDK. But at that point of time, because it was required in one of our projects, so we developed it with the React Native team and the native team. They coordinated together. We developed a plugin on our site that actually allowed us to interact with the iOS and the Android SDK from Vonage. And so that was a really successful integration. And eventually, as these hybrid applications, they grew more and more in kind of popularity. So even Vonage, they also started creating their own plugin for React Native. So eventually the support increased, and now it's like 99% whatever different plugins we are looking for React Native and all. So these are kind of available, or if not available, probably even some third-party plugin is available that we can just go through, make sure it's working properly for us or not, and we can either build upon it, or we can use it outright.
Great insights, Abhijeet. I would agree that organizations must consider performance challenges and the need of native code to access specific features like you mentioned when choosing hybrid development. Now, another critical aspect that often comes up in hybrid app development is security. So what are some specific security concerns associated with hybrid app development, and how can organizations address these risks to ensure that their applications remain secure?
I think it's a big one. Security, basically, it's always a concern. It doesn't matter which platform, if you are building for native, hybrid, web app, or anything.
Yeah.
So hybrid applications, they do not inherently have more vulnerabilities than native apps, because internally, basically, they are interacting with the native code itself. So we are building on top of Android and iOS and the other platforms, but they do come with specific considerations. For example, since hybrid applications, they rely on web technologies, and so developers need to ensure communication between the app and the server is secure through methods like SSL pinning, proper encryption, and the code is encrypted or not.
Right.
That is a big thing that I was working with one client where I kind of found out basically that the applications basically they do, whenever we are downloading the live application, it's not like the code, someone cannot modify the code. So it's a responsibility of the development team, and before uploading it to these stores, so that their code should be kind of obfuscated and all, so that it's not outright someone can just unbundle that particular application and just go through the configurations and stuff. So, and this is something that is really, really easy for the web application. If someone forgets to kind of obfuscate their code, so someone can just go into the source, inspect the elements and the source code, and just go through the code and everything. So So these are some of the factors. And over the years, there have been multiple upgrades in securities in the web technologies. There are more and more frameworks for security available outright. For example, in case of Android, we used to have have something called ProGuard. Okay, so that is a really basic version. And nowadays, the same organization, Guard Square, they have a product for both Android and iOS, IXGuard and DexGuard, for example. So that is really advanced in providing multi-layer protection against jailbreak, hooking, etc. So you name it, and they kind of have it. So it was a real eye opener. In general, we think that if we are downloading from the store, it's kind of really fine, and I think it's okay for the iOS user because you cannot go and download it from somewhere else. But yeah, for Android devices, people whenever they are downloading through any link or some third-party website, they should it's really important that they take care of such a thing, because someone can do some kind of a manipulation, and nowadays it's possible. The number of tools available out there, it's just enormous.
Right. Thank you for shedding light on that, Abhijeet. So, as we look to the future, I'm curious about the potential impact of emerging technologies. How do you see advancement in AI, ML influencing the development and functionality of hybrid apps? It would be fascinating to explore how these technologies might shape the next gen of hybrid applications.
So, AI and machine learning are huge growth areas, especially after we saw that boom of the ChatGPT released. So people really started working on these things, that how we can start creating applications, just not at the native level, but with the hybrid applications as well. So the hybrid applications are really well positioned to take the advantage of these technologies. So AI-powered features like chatbots, recommendation engines, real-time analytics and all, they can also be integrated into hybrid applications using cloud-based APIs and all. So even at Unthinkable, for example, we are able to utilize hybrid frameworks to create our in-house ChatGPT-powered chatbot, Verbi. So it was way quicker to develop and roll out as a hybrid application on native as well as on web platforms.
Oh, great insights. What an interesting conversation we had today, Abhijeet. The insights that you shared with us have truly illuminated the evolving landscape of hybrid apps and their significance for startups and established companies alike. Thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise on this important topic. Your perspective is invaluable.
Yeah, Roll, it was a real great experience for me as well. So I really loved having an interesting and crucial conversation with you.
To our listeners, we appreciate you tuning in. We hope you found this discussion insightful and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your network. Until next time, keep exploring and embracing the innovations that shape our digital world.